We are based in Hong Kong and we're fundamental investors. We don't start with market capitalization, so we will deviate from an index quite significantly. And our fund managers do their own research. So our fund managers, all based in Hong Kong, come from China, mainland China, from India, from Thailand, from the local markets. They find the sectors and the stocks they like, and then they bring the ideas back, discuss it, and they get put into the portfolio. It's a bottom-up, fundamental team approach. We have a preference for mid-cap stocks, so a lot of the research is in companies maybe less than 2 billion in market capitalization. So we have about 50 stocks in the portfolio, so it's quite concentrated.
Fund in principle focus on 3 countries, right?
Yes, 75% of the money is in 3 countries, 75, 85, but we can invest in others. Look at the MSCI index. That is very much more towards Korea, Taiwan, the developed markets. We wanted to show investors of the opportunities in the population. You have more than half the world's working population, and these are young population, like 70% of the population less than 35. So these are the people who are going to be working, being the new middle class. They'll be the ones who are the consumers of the future. So also, it's the countries where you need infrastructure, where people are moving from a rural area to cities, where the reason for the correction is 2. 1, China, I believe, is ahead of the curve. It raised interest, it raised bank reserve requirements, it tightened lending, and by doing so, the market got worried. Is it going to be a hard landing? Is the property market going to crash? The market itself worries about what's happening in the liquidity. So we've also seen tightening domestically. We've seen people selling after having made so much money last year, taking money out of emerging markets and taking it back, repatriating, maybe because of currency. So in euro terms, it's still at a high. The reporting season was better than expected, but the market's corrected, that this correction is a healthy one, that the opportunities are still there on the 3 to 5 year, and you should use these corrections. We do look at political risk, but sometimes it's very difficult to assess what is political risk. My worry in China is not the central government's planning, but is if you do not achieve the growth. In India, you saw the coalition government work very well with the most recent election, and also the budget of the recent election came out very much balanced. In a country like Thailand, where the stock market has ignored it, there's been very minor correction in it. So there, we avoided Thailand because we were worried about the political risk, because we thought that this would lead to be a big sell-off to the market. But surprisingly, it hasn't. While China did sell off, we have very low exposure to Thailand. We still much prefer the growth opportunities and the longer-term growth in China and India, Vietnam. In the 3 named countries, we have to have a minimum of 75%. So at the moment we have 48 in India, 40 in China, and 6 in Vietnam. Limits. We look at liquidity as much more of the limit. We start normally at a 1.5% position, then 2.5%, and then 3.5%. We have about 50 stocks in the portfolio. We look at the cross-correlation, so we don't want over-concentration in any one sector. So we do look at that, but we don't have a hard and fast. We look at, because sometimes sectors behave the same but are different. Property and finance behave the same. It's not just going to be an outsourcing country. It's not just going to be agricultural based. There's a whole swathe of opportunities. So what will take it there? And that's what we're looking for.